like I said, we go.
It's about to be fun.
Keep this the way we normally do it.
This is how we do it. Yo, I've been on like custom live streaming service. You got custom?
Oh, so that's what I use to so when I have it on the restream, it'll to all of the other different channels.
Oh, so you got real technology, unlike
whatever, man.
This is perfect.
Got 8 people, 10 people, man. We're gonna allow people to just come in before we get started. We appreciate everybody being here, and then if any of you all have any questions and answers, questions, we're gonna use the Q&A function. But then also we have the chat feature if you want to just chat amongst each other. Definitely wanted to know who's in the chat with us today. So drop where you from. Let us know. Yeah, where you from?
Yeah.
The Bronx.
I like the Bronx. Houston, Texas. Oh.
And you what place don't you like? You know, you be all
I
over
don't like let me see what place I don't like. I don't like Phoenix, Arizona.
Really? Why?
No, I did not like it. Phoenix was too hot. It was dry. There was no black people. Yeah, I didn't like Phoenix. I think that's my number one city I didn't like. I didn't like it.
How long were you there?
I was there for 3 days.
Okay.
Too long. 3 days too long.
You said 3 days too long.
Way too long. I'm serious. I'm trying to even think like even other cities. Let me see what other city. Funny, I've been to McAllen, Texas, which is Rio, Rio Grande, the one out at the bottom. I like that. That was fun. It was crazy. It's a small airplane to get there from Charlotte, but I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I don't know another place I didn't like. I like your kind of somewhere near your neck of the woods, but it was like Tabaro, in North Carolina.
It's Tabaro.
I've been there.
Tabaro.
Rocky Mount.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see what we got. We got Memphis, my little cousin in here, Jeffrey. He's from Bertie. We got Charlotte by the way of Roanoke. From Greensboro, Dom. What up, Dom? Mark, what up, Mark? He from Harlem. We got Ricky from NYC. Over on Facebook, we got Carmisha. She from Charlotte. That's the homie. Yeah, so we got everything. We got Facebook going, we got Twitter going, we got a lot of stuff going on, man. But no, we appreciate everybody.
I need to share your Facebook on my page, actually.
Yeah, you gotta go,
to your Facebook. Oh, there go me. Let me just share.
he said, hey, there go me.
This is gonna be awesome. And now my family can see it, and it's gonna be funny because I'm pretty sure my dad is probably gonna log in.
Hey man, older people, man, they be on Facebook hard, boy, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They be on it hard.
Yes, they do.
It is hilarious. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give people a couple of more minutes. My cousin Neat, she from Garner. So yeah, we got a nice little crowd, man. We appreciate everybody tuning in, man. We want to have an open and honest conversation, but it's between two homies. But we're gonna be vulnerable in this conversation and really talk about some real stuff, man. Just because it's some real stuff going on, but then a lot of times we don't have these conversations. A lot of times we don't even have these conversations in public. I mean, in private. So, but me and Mario, we've been blessed to connect with each other and be able to be open and honest with each other, and then not judge one another when it comes down to anything. So I think that's the beauty of it. And then we wanted to just bring this to light with you all, and let you all know that there are different topics that we don't discuss that we need to discuss. And I hope our friendship is a way for you all to see that, but then also it's a bridge the gap from on a lot of other different perspectives. So Mario, I definitely appreciate you, chopping it up with me, bro.
This is fun. We don't have an agenda. We just gonna just do this, and I love.
We're gonna just do it, man.
I love it this way.
Why would we have an agenda? Let y'all know, I didn't give Mario any questions or anything beforehand, so he don't know what's coming his way.
I don't know.
So, but no, it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun.
Yeah. Oh, is that me? Uh-oh. I think it's your internet. I think I'm still on. If y'all still on this, Jill Scott and Erykah Badu. I ain't got no songs for y'all at this moment though. Let's see. Okay, you back on?
Yeah, I'm back.
I told her this is like Jill Scott and Erykah Badu. I think when Erykah Badu's phone went dead. I ain't got no songs for y'all though, but this is it.
All right. Let's see. Okay, I want to make sure we good.
Perfect.
Oh, okay, yeah. So make sure we good. Let me make sure Instagram. Not Instagram. Sorry. Facebook is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah. So.
Oh, I messed up in the calendar. Sorry. Your turn.
Oh, I was like, what's that?
I got on Facebook on accident.
It's cool. I just want to let's see. One last thing, everybody, and then we'll get started.
Perfect.
Take this AirPod out before I continue. That's what be throwing me off.
You said what? I can't hear you now. I can.
Yeah. All right, cool. I said I had to take that AirPod off because sometimes it goes on and then it cuts off in the middle of the stuff. So I was like, let me. Yeah.
They can't fit my ears. I got these small ears. They can't fit. You really can't. Me and my sister both were thinking about getting AirPods for Christmas, and legit, I tried to put in my ears, it was falling out. I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go up 8:10, man. We'll go ahead and get started, man. We got people in the. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the chat, and then, like I said, everybody, if you got any questions, man, drop them in the Q&A. I'll try to keep up with both the Facebook and the Zoom, but y'all know how that goes. But I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. This is the Why Eustressin live series. We wanted to do a special one today. So Why Eustressin is a series that I actually to showcase how stress impacts people differently in their lives, especially in different professions. So we wanted to highlight that aspect. But then also want to add how do people add eustress to their life? So what good stress do they have in their life where it allows them to manage certain things? So that's been a series that I've done for a couple of years now, but definitely wanted to bring a new spin to it this month because June is Pride Month. For those of y'all that do not know. So I want to invite my dear friend and colleague and just my homie, Mario Jovan to sit here and chop it up with me.
We need a little clap. We need y'all clap for me.
Yeah, so want to invite Mario on so that we're going to talk about. We're going to ask him why is he stressing. We wanted to actually focus on the aspect with him identifying
as a part of the LGBTQ community. So it's definitely something I'm excited about, just to have the topic of discussion, but then also being able to let y'all, and I'm gonna introduce y'all to my homie. This is my
homie. We talk every day, pretty much.
Right. So no, definitely wanted to do that. So again, I will let Mario introduce himself, because we're, like I said, we're doing this off the cuff, no script, none of that. But so I'm not reading any bios, none of that stuff. So Mario.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to introduce myself, just how I feel in this present moment, how I feel, how I identify. I think, definitely with the movement and everything that's happening, I think the first thing I want to say about who I am as a storyteller. And that's a part of one of the 8, categories of how you respond to this movement. And so my biggest thing is how am I telling stories that illuminate what's happening on the ground, so that we're able to create a message and a narrative that's constructed by us and not by other people. And that's been my biggest thing right now. Aside from that, I am a storyteller even through Profound Gentlemen, which is an organization that I am a co-founder of with Jason Terrell. And we support male teachers of color around the country. And just loving it. Been in the work for 5 years. Rwenshaun has been a part of our work. We have invited him to speak numerous of times. Many of our staff members go to him as well for work. And so I don't know if I'm stressing them out. But they do come to you, and I love it. And then, Rwenshaun and I always find ourselves, seeing each other not in the city of Charlotte. We always end up, it's a lot of our friends, me and Bellamy and you, like, we never see each other in the city of Charlotte. We always see each other. Well, right now, obviously, it's much different, but we always see each other in a different city. So we travel a lot and stuff. But it's just been a joy. That's been my thing. I'm a writer, and I just love just Black boy joy, and a lot of people have transitioned that to Black joy, so I'm with it too. Black joy, that's just been my thing for the past 2 or 3 years, of in the midst of this, looking at Black joy as a sense of activism, which has been awesome. Yeah.
Right. No, I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate you creating this space, but showing up in this space. And sharing it with me, man. So we will go ahead and jump into it. One of the things I want to say, we want to start off with is, like, me. I want to start. How are you doing, bro? Like, seriously.
Yeah. What's interesting is that somebody asked me this earlier, and I'm doing well, which is really good. I'm happy that I'm doing well, and I think part of the reason why I'm doing well is I learned from 2016. Honestly, when the riots happened here in Charlotte and everything, I learned to know how to consume information and be over how I consume my information rather than allowing it to come to me. One of those biggest things, like, I watched, the shooting of Tamir Rice. I sat there and I listened to every call with Trayvon Martin as he was crying in the background, and so I knew in this round that I cannot listen to, 911 calls of the boyfriend from Breonna Taylor, or even, even looking at the picture of the officer's knee on George Floyd's neck.
Right.
Somebody compared it to, years ago, obviously during slavery, just like walking down the street and seeing lynchings, seeing people physical body lynched, and that's what these videos represent. And I said, if that's what these videos represent, then I gotta kind of scale back on actually physically watching it. So I have had the energy to be able to listen to stories and to be able to do the work because I've consumed media in just an interesting way this time. So yeah.
I love that. So when you, because especially when in today with technology, and then let's say we're scrolling, It's easy to, just pop up on the different pictures and all of that. Or, we're in a bunch of group chats and we got friends that want to share every single thing that comes through to make sure that, because they seen it, they want everybody else to see it. How do you limit what you consume in those fashions?
Funny thing is, I have literally unapologetically told every group that I'm in to not post it. I have, even in the staff group, you know what I mean, and not the one for the but for the one for our national team, I said respectfully, if you guys could limit this, you know what I mean, and if there is any important information, and this is my privilege, but if there's any important information related to, what you're posting and need to happen, please let it go through my assistant before it come to me. You know what I mean? And recognize, but listen, it's a college assistant. Get you somebody that can a college assistant. You know what I mean? They look at it as like, yo, this money is good for me as a college student. So, but I didn't. And plus, in another friends group, means like 4 of us that we're in. One of the things is we always sharing funny videos and crazy stuff. Anyway, I always tell people, if you want to fire me, take a whole, somebody needs to hack this group me, because the stuff that we say at that group will get me fired. Like, this is a totally different way that happens, like, in a 9 to 5. But you gotta have those group meetings to be like, yo, this is just us just having fun. Right. But in all of the messages I'm at, literally, it's just a blessing that I think all of us are on that same path. That's like, nah, like this needs to be a safe space where we do share some information, but not over consumption. Right. And then I put a timer on my Instagram, so like I'm only able to be on Instagram for an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So no.
I do the same thing, man.
Yeah, you taught me that.
Yeah, you'll find yourself scrolling, and it'll be a mess. But no. So as we get, really go into depth with the conversation, man, I want to know how, first of all, the first question is, how do you identify?
So it's funny because I think I was just having this conversation with one of my friends about identifying, and I think it's interesting because being a Black person, also a member of the LGBT community, it's interesting because sometimes you do have to allow external factors to dictate how you identify. So if I was just me in my house, I identify as a Black, gay, sometimes Black queer male. But it depends on what space I'm in, that gay comes before Black. And it was interesting that we were talking about this, because when you're in a Black space, people are going to notice your queerness because Black is now equal, because everybody is Black in the space. Same thing for, I would assume, like with, not speaking for women, but with women, when you're in a Black space, a woman, obviously would seem like it will come first. Mm-hmm. Because that is the way that people will actually start to see you in a Black space. Mm-hmm. So when I think about my identifying, it's spaces inside of me and my own heart that I think about who I am as a person and reflect on who I am as a person, outside of just like the external things, race, sex, orientation, those type of this. Because my biggest thing is I identify, honestly, as a storyteller. Like, that's my biggest thing, is that I love stories. I read a lot. I write a lot. I journal every single day because of your Black ass. And so, like, it's just, you know what I mean? That has always been my thing. And even with my Instagram stories, I draw and all type of things, like, creating that message. But if we're talking about, the 8, identities type of thing, then, I would always, in the general public, say Black, gay, or queer space. And we was talking about this. The reason, I sometimes go back and forth between gay and queer is just the stigmatism. If I'm using that right word. But the stigma.
Hey, so even with that, can I interject real quick? So, yeah, please. So even with gay and queer, what is the difference? Because a lot of people don't know.
It's really interesting. I think queer is more of a broader concept that allows people to identify how they choose. Whereas gay is like, there's these guidelines that it seems like, unfortunately, that comes of being gay. And I always go back and forth with that because I think it's important for people to sometimes use a definition and figure out how to redefine it. So oftentimes I think about how do I use the word gay and redefine like what the general terms of how people kind of like, use it, this feminizing word, this demeaning word, definitely the Black community, a lot of people use that word to weaponize people and to categorize individuals and put them in a box and stuff. Whereas when you use the word queer, I've noticed a lot of Black folk in the LGBT community using the word queer because it's a broader concept where you don't have to go through the guidelines of like, or take on a word that people use while you were growing up to offend you, So now I gotta own this word, but they don't be like, man, like I'm gonna just say it, they're like, nigga, you queer, like
Right.
Young boys don't say that, They gonna say, nigga, you gay,
Right.
So like taking ownership of that word sometimes come with a larger struggle, and that's why I love how people are able to identify their own walk when you use the word queer.
Right. Oh, I love that. You put it in perspective. Even for me, like I said, we have these conversations, and I think one of the premise of this conversation is the fact that I'm able to go if it's something that I question or I'm not too sure about, I'll hit Mario up. Period.
Yeah.
And like ask a question. A lot of times we are even scared to ask a question about certain things because one, we don't want to be judged for not knowing, or we don't want to be criticized, for like, oh, you don't know that, or you're not correct. I'm like, I don't know. I really want to ask the question. So that's why I pose that, so that people can understand the different aspects of it and the layers of it.
Can I push you in that a little bit further too? With this space, it's really interesting because I was talking to someone yesterday about this because and I don't know how I feel about this. You know what I mean? I go back and forth. It's a lot of stuff I'm going back and forth with, which is why I'm loving that we're having this conversation because it's a lot of things that are new because. Sometimes I feel like the same way that Black straight people come to gay people is the same way that white people come to Black people, right? Whereas like they ask all of these questions, and in the Black community, we don't want white people to ask us all of these questions. And I definitely think in the Black LGBTQ plus community, we also don't want that same thing. There are plenty of books out here for you to be able to ask these questions, for you to be able to do the work. In addition to that, when you do have a friend where you're able to ask those particular questions and you have that I wouldn't even call it safe space, but you have that type of relationship, then that's okay. But what I don't want people to take away from this conversation is for folks who are from the hetero community to feel that once they know a gay person that, okay, can I ask you all these questions? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, like that one of the things is like, that's crazy. The number one question, and many gay guys will probably hear this often, and you'll hear me interchangeably say gay and queer, and unfortunately, that is the case for right now. I love when at the beginning of the books people say that, like, I'm going to interchange, say gay and queer, and please don't be offended by that. But you'll hear people say the first question be like, "You too cute to be gay." Like, what is that? What does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, why are you gay? I don't know. You know what I mean? Right. How do you ask that question? So, like, oftentimes when straight people do ask gay people questions, it comes off volatile. And so gay people have been, or members of the LGBT community, have been very cognizant of asking those of answering or allowing that window. But for the sake of this conversation, Rwenshaun and I have a deep relationship. So we're going to ask the questions in this conversation. Right. So I want people to know that. But I also don't want you to take away from the fact that, like, because we're asking these questions and he's asking me these questions, that's the norm, that not everybody can ask me these questions. So I wanted to frame that. But we gonna talk.
Right. I also love the fact that you put it in correlation, especially with these times when it comes down to race, because I've been getting a lot of questions from white people or white colleagues, and they want to justify the reasons why they're doing certain things, or they want to let me know every time they go to a rally, or to a protest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What other work are you doing? So I definitely can get it. Or they want to ask all of these questions. What is it like to be black and all of these types of things? I'm like, I'm already trying to deal with so much stuff right now. When you coming to me about certain things, I'm like, that ain't it right now. So no, I definitely can understand.
And it's difficult. I mean, black gay people definitely. My business partner Jason said it so well today. I was like, okay, you know what I mean? But like, I was like, he said it so well. He said, I believe that God really stirred up the storm for all of these things to come up. The fact that the Black Lives Matter movement is happening during Pride Month. Like for the longest, the black community have ignored the voices of the movement from people who are queer, and that's just amazing that it is happening during this time. And at the beginning so we have to ask ourselves these questions. We really, really do. I am not the type of person that once the door is open, I'm trying to, move everything in that door because the door is open. So I'm trying to figure out, and I was just sharing this with him too, this balance between, and with this, I don't know if there really is a balance. I think it's just identity work that just has to get done, and there has to be two things that's happening at one time. I think we're smart enough to be able to do it, but right now we're looking at anti-racism, right? And we're looking at defunding the police. And I believe that is a nucleus thing that happens. But in that, we have to recognize what happens to Black women during this time of anti-racism and defunding police, and more specifically also what's happening with the queer community as well. You know what I mean? So we have to bring all of that in. Mm-hmm. At the same time, if we're talking about defunding the police, mm-hmm. and if we're talking about anti-racism work, we just saw last week, right, in Minneapolis, where a trans woman unfortunately was attacked. You know what I mean? A part of protesting. You know what I mean? Like while being a part of the movement, and people attack us with our words. It's not even just physical things. Right. I have received hate mail all the time. You know what I mean? I even received that. I received a box of makeup one time from a random person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they mailed it to the leasing office. They didn't know my specific address. You know what I mean? Right. But that happens, with me leading this work. And you have to still continue to want to fight for Black community, and that's challenging.
Right. So how even during those times you're just we have layers to, we all have layers to our identity, but so mm-hmm. with you identifying as a Black person, but then also you identifying as queer or gay, when your first identity is when a member of your first identity attacks your second identity, how do you handle that?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And for my response to this, I want to be more specific. Like, this is how I handle it, and this is the rule book for how every gay person handle it. And so the way that I handle it is that I'm reminded of the people that I'm around that don't do those things, right? Mm. And I go back to my tribe. I go back to my tribe and understand that my tribe is doing the work to create more Rwenshaun's, more Johnnies, or different people like that. Mm-hmm. That these could be Black straight individuals that are straight up allies. I could talk to them about relationships and everything. You know what I mean? And know that this happens. But then it also, I'm a radical, so it pushes me to actually step out more. Mm. Okay, so you do that to my sister, you do that to my brother, the LGBTQ plus community. Oh, okay, now you got to deal with me.
Right.
So now I'm about to step up even more. I think it like part, you know, a lot my letter that I sent to my staff and then I sent to the gentleman in our organization kind of, you know, went to 3 different networks and got published, right? And a lot of people started reading and sending emails. And the thing around that is the reason why I did that is because of what happened to the trans woman that was getting beaten, you know what I mean, by black males, you know what I mean, like in a store, you know, and it was just like, and the black queer lives that were lost, you know what I mean, and that we oftentimes, you know, by the hands of police, that we oftentimes don't speak and say anything about. I said, well, I'm gonna go harder, you know, in this. I'm gonna speak up a little even larger and heavier in this. And I love my family because they support me in that. They be like, okay, definitely my dad, like, call me when you get home, or you know what I mean, like, because they know it's gonna even be even more of a threat, you know, against my life.
Right.
But if I have this platform, I refuse to not use it for something good, specifically when other people don't have this. So I think when it happens like that, I typically tend to go harder. And I'm the type of person that like to have uncomfortable conversations. I thrive off of kind of like having uncomfortable conversations. And so I begin to push people who are having those narratives and thoughts in the straight community, you know what I mean? And ask them how are they reflecting on this as well.
Right. Man, it's so many ways I want to go with this conversation.
Sorry.
With so much stuff that you just said. But I say one of the things that pops up in my head immediately was the fact that you said that your dad supports you, man. I hear that. And not just from the saying of he supports you as far as you know your identity and all of that stuff, but then also being a black dad to a black son. Like a lot of people, we don't get that from our black fathers because they're never taught that stuff. They're never taught that nurturing aspect. What especially as you start to learn fully learn your identity, and not saying that you completely know it now, but as you continue along this journey, what role did your dad play into this?
So my dad was the first person that I invited into my life. So I always talk about that. I don't call it a coming out moment because coming out centers straightness and a majority whiteness centered movement. And I believe that everybody has an inviting in moment. And when you say that it doesn't center this ooh type of thing. It's like, no, everybody has to tell people about their life. Unfortunately, some people, when they tell folks about their life, that is met with opposition, right? And so when I invited my dad into my life, it was at 25 years old. And the first thing is, and I'm going to mention this, I know there's probably going to be some questions around this. So, but I just wanted to know that God loved me. That was my number one thing. If I do this, God, do you love me? And it was right after my 25th birthday, like a couple of days, and I just went running with my dog, and I was just like going. And when I got back to my apartment, I collapsed on the floor, and not like because I was tired, you know, I'm good, you know, running, you know what I mean? But I collapsed on the floor with this burden of, God, do you love me? Like, I don't want to do this no more. You know what I mean? I don't want to be running away from myself. I want to embrace me, and I want to be my full authentic self. And the cool thing is, my dad, I was talking to this knucklehead at the fucking time. And
hey, look, I'm gonna tell y'all, I've been getting these conversations a lot with him and these knuckleheads.
You definitely get all of the conversations like, oh, I'm doing it. I don't want to talk about that. I definitely talk to you about, okay, what about this person? It's so funny, but like, I was talking to this knucklehead for time, and it was like, he like ghosted me. So I know what ghosting feels like. I got a book called The Gift Exchange where the guy go ghosting and shit. And it's funny because I know exactly that feeling. And that's why I wrote it, to get it took me 4 years to get like through with that, you know what I mean? Like, because that was the first time I actually really engaged in a relationship. But the guy he had went ghost like for about like 2 weeks now, and it was crazy because later that day, my dad literally said like, I know that you're gay. And I literally knew that I needed to hear that conversation. Like me and him was just randomly talking, all of a sudden, he just said it. Because I literally told, okay, when I collapsed, I forgot to tell this part. When I collapsed on the floor and started crying, I said, God, I just need a sign. I just need to know that you love me. And I literally heard very vividly, God said, I love you just the way that you are. Literally later that night, my dad calls me and say that I know that you're gay. Like, I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I don't know. Like, prayer works.
Right.
You know what I mean? Prayer works. And I was like, okay, God loves me, because my dad literally just, you know what I mean? And me and my dad had this strong conversation. And then ever since then, my dad, every week, and I have to tell him to stop, because he was like, did you find anybody yet? You find anybody yet? I just want you to be happy. I'm like, why is it that I have to have someone to be happy? Let's like, you know, unpack that a little bit.
Right.
You know, but that's my dad. My dad always had to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? I always known, even after my parents got a divorce, my dad was always in a relationship. So that's always been his angle. So obviously he approached me that way. But it was great that my dad was even open to want to even have conversation about me being in a relationship. And oftentimes I do feel that I have this pressure to get into a relationship. My dad is 70, years old. And definitely when COVID started happening, I said, yo, I do not want my dad to catch COVID and die and not see me in a relationship. I there's a pressure there for me. My dad has really, he was the first person, and I absolutely enjoyed it. And him and I have great conversations. But the good thing, the cool thing is that my dad has a trans sister.
Okay.
And so that was normal for my dad. My dad he always said, he was always a inviting in person. And that's where I kind of understood it, because every time a Jehovah's Witness came to the door, my dad used to say, you always need to answer the door and just hear what they have to say, because you need to hear their perspective. And if you don't want to hear what they need to say, just open the door naked. Like, that's what he always used to tell me. And like, if you don't feel like you're here today, just open the door naked. But if you do want, you need to, you know what I mean? You need to hear from Muslim, you need to hear from Christian, you need to hear from everybody. And my dad was he is still like a person that talks about it. He worked in a juvenile detention center sex offenders department, and he believed in rehabilitating juveniles. That something happened. The reason why you chose that, and he chose to look at them beyond their worst mistake, and that's how I even got into education. My dad, when we didn't have a sitter, my mom and my dad, when we didn't have a sitter, he would take me to work with him, me and my sister, and we would play foosball with the kids and pool tables. And my dad had this trusting relationship with the students that he was working with. And that's how I operate in the world as well. That I've always seen people within them and not around them. You know what I mean? I see through you. I see literally who you are as a person and consume everything. But a lot of people like to say I'm sorry, but I'm rambling. But even like Kevin Hart, when Kevin Hart, told, when it was the barbershop situation, I love the little LeBron James barbershop toss, and Lil Nas X was on a show with Kevin Hart, and when Lil Nas X was talking about him being gay, and Kevin Hart said, "Why does that matter? Why does that matter?" He kept on saying, "Why does that matter? Like, it shouldn't even matter." That's also like a white person saying to a black person, "Well, why does that matter? Why does your skin color matter?" Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, we gotta start thinking about these things, but we're very comfortable with that. Yeah, I could go on and on, but I'll stop there. That was definitely a question that is deep, how me and my dad, because I don't think I would have. I think I eventually would have came out. You know what I mean? But as smooth. I still use the word come out, but as smooth as of a process it was, I think it was because of my dad, and then eventually my mom. Yeah.
So even with that, having that experience growing up, and I know you how long did you feel like you struggled when it came down to understanding who you are and identifying as queer or gay?
I think that's an everyday move. I think that's an everyday situation, because every day I have to make the choice when I'm in a car with a whole bunch of black males, whether that's a black male Christian group or anything like that, to fully show up as myself. And I always share this with people too, because people who choose not to show up as themselves are not wrong. You know what I mean? I think, you know, one of the first books, you know, that was about the Black gay community, unfortunately, in the Black community, was a download book. You know what I mean? One of the first books that went viral. And so that kind of shaped the narrative of how people see definitely Black males, that they got to be on the DL, you know what I mean? And that type of thing. And that continues to haunt us still to this day, you know what I mean? So whenever I show up, it's that idea that I have to, who am I doing it for? Like, I also came out not just because of me, but also because of young Black boys. I knew at 25 years old I was stepping into a CEO role. I never heard of a Black gay male that was a CEO. At 25 years old, I didn't even hear of one. So, you know, how do you think a Black gay male a Black young boy is going to be able to show up? You know, some people call it, you know, identity suicide and those things, where it's like people, you know, young Black boys can't be their authentic self, you know what I mean, and dream. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I take, for example, just real quick, I was at a gay club I was celebrating Black Gay Pride at a gay club, and I was with a couple of people, and then we seen another group of people came, and it's like, Mario? I said, hey, it's like, what you doing here? And I said, I'm here to party, I'm here to have fun. You know, I love me a good day party, regardless of what it is. I love a good day party. Nighttime, day party, yes, okay? Crazy part is, he was like, well, you Mr. CEO, you Forbes under 30, you shouldn't even be here. It's this idea that in the gay community, unfortunately, even with our community, that I can't be at the gay club. That this is for those people. You know what I mean? It's sad. But that's the identity that has been created about gay folks. You know what I mean? That is very much so this interesting culture. And so every day as a CEO, I choose to speak out and come out to share that, no, like, just because I say that I'm gay or just because I say that I'm queer does not, you know what I mean? I'm a CEO. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm out. A lot of times it's strategically. This is what I wanted to mention too. Strategically, some people can't come out as CEOs, you know what I mean, in order to do what they need to do. But please believe that I have seen some CEOs who can't come out, but in the background doing the work. And so we can't continue to heart down on people, but because of this DL term, we tend to, you know, unfortunately, attack people who don't choose to come out.
Right. So you mentioned something that was very poignant to me about, you know, identity suicide, and
yeah,
addressing it. So you have come into the point where you're able to own who you are, even own the fact that you may not know certain aspects of yourself right now. And I'm pretty sure in some ways that can be freeing, but then also it comes with its own battles as well. When it comes down to your mental health, how has you been able to
I love you. This is how me and you, like, this is how we talk. Okay, go.
When it comes to your mental health, I guess it's a two-part question. How has you been able to effectively, for one, find your tribe and be who you are, affects your mental health, but then also on the flip side of that, the responsibility that comes with that, how has that impacted?
Whoa. I might need to turn on the AC for that, because I think about, like, because, like, you're right. We go back to identity suicide, right? Like, I feel like I was living but dying inside, right? You know what I mean? By not fully revealing who I am, because I felt like that my own walk of life was about me actually open up avenues for other people. And that does come with a burden. Yeah, you have been there where I have been at my lowest of lows. And you know those moments where, you know, November of 2018, I always go back to it. I was just like, I can't do this no more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I chose to come out. It was the same time that the makeup box situation happened. And I was just like, this is too much. Why are so many people attacking me just wanting to be me, you know what I mean? Or open up avenues, you know. I've had the conversation. I mean, I've had people say like the reason why I started a nonprofit of male teachers of color was to have my own orgy. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know, so that mental health thing is super important for me to take care of myself, to then open up avenues for other people. I think I'm very careful of choosing the people that are close to me. I'm very careful with that. Trust to me is a big thing. That's a big thing for me when it comes to who I'm allowing to speak into my life, share ideas of what I should do. I need somebody to understand fully me to be able to give advice.
Right.
Definitely in this movement and what we're doing right now.
Right.
It's difficult, right? And so like you can't tell me I need to do this when you don't know my story. So if you don't know my story and my walk, then how can you tell me and give me advice on certain things? Right. So I'm very slow to trust individuals or to allow people, you know, people be like, be open to, you know, millennials things, be open to feedback. You know what I mean? I'll be like, fuck that shit. Like, I don't. Because, and it's like this idea that you got to be open to everybody telling you everything. That is detrimental to your own development and the vision that you have for your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to be careful with who is speaking into you, because they could send you a whole new different direction. So when I mention identity suicide, it's definitely about the young boys who don't have individuals who they could look up to that say, I could do it too. You know what I mean? So then they choose to do the lesser because of how we rank everything. And I don't care about that, but the lesser of their potential, unfortunately.
Right.
And so in order for me to maintain my health, I gotta have those people around me that's like, oh no, you need to do something different, or challenging me or pushing me or asking me, you know, deep questions and stuff, because it's super important. Yeah, you made me sweat with that one, because that's a tough one for me, because you know, I've gotten so much love since the article came out. I got so much love from people been emailing me who say they're not even out in their workspace. You know, and they're secretly respond to, you know, messaging me back type of thing. Like, wow, you know, like, you know, they're like, I messaged you back on another email that the email was sent to so that the people can't track this response. Right. I'm like, wow, this is really deep. And people are really having this. But I definitely, and I draw, you know me. I'm an artist. And I'm sensitive about my shit.
They may not know.
I do gotta start. I'm really starting to think that me and you on FaceTime, so I really do gotta start like so. Yeah, I draw. I paint. There's images all around my house that reminds me of different images of who Black males are, and that helps me. Yeah, I posted on my IG. So at Mario Jovan. I posted it. I posted some pictures today.
Y'all make sure y'all follow him. I'm dropping. So what I'm doing right now is I'm dropping your article in the chat. I'm putting it on. I got it on Zoom, but now I'm about to drop it on Facebook too, so that y'all can check out this article.
Yeah, and I did not think it was gonna get this many views. I did not think people was gonna read it. I literally just sent it to the staff and then sent it to gentlemen. He was like, yo, because the article talked about also, you guys, it talks about how a struggle for Black males, straight males, to be allies. And I think that's an important conversation to have. Yeah, if you want to, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
What does it mean to be an ally?
Some people say accomplice, some people say ally. We step away from saying accomplice, but it means to step in. But I think ally to me is to really look within. You know what I mean? And when I look at the word ally, ALLs, that's starting off with that word, like it means all. You know what I mean? To support fully and to give everything, to being that supporter. And I think for Black males, I'm going to start off with there. For Black males, straight Black males, it's difficult for them to be allies because it is termed DL. So oftentimes, like, I've had situations and scenarios where, you know, it's interesting. I typically go to the gay club with straight friends. I don't know how that happens, but I usually be at the gay club with straight friends, straight Black male friends. And I've experienced when somebody is saying, "Oh, they at the I seen so at the gay club," and then they'll show like these googly eyes, like, you know what I mean, these side eyes, like, what, you know, and I'll be like, no, like they just went to the gay club, you know what I mean? So it's like, because we have this DL sensation, you know what I mean, within everything, not even just from the Black community. We have to step away from just saying it's in the Black community. Because definitely you watch Pose, you recognize these white CEOs be up here just going crazy, but like, that's really, you know, but really, let me being more specific, in a Black straight male community, it's hard for you guys to be allies, because a lot of people, even within the Black gay community, will be like, oh, they gay, you know what I mean? Because they're supporting these people, they're hanging out with these group of folks. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. Right. And the reason why I don't like that is because, we're gonna have to change it and move it forward, is because of the fact that y'all should become allies. Y'all should have the opportunity to show y'all full self. But that's going to take us talking about masculinity and femininity. I think that's the biggest conversation. I think it goes beyond the LGBTQ community. In Bell Hooks' book, the Cool book, which I love that book. I read that book all the time. And I picked up that book when I was in college. And it talks about this masculine and femininity thing, and it talks about how Black males typically, and males in general, typically tend, if you put yourself on a spectrum of straight or gay, I mean not straight or gay, sorry, of masculinity, femininity, right? Based on the definition of masculinity and femininity, like the world's definition, not your own, wherever you fit at, you're going to end up trying to be friends with people that are around your definition of masculinity or more masculine, but you're going to stray away from being people that are more feminine than you. There are even people who are gay that don't want to hang around guys that's more feminine than them, right? So there's this femme shaming, you know what I mean? That is really true. I was talking to a friend yesterday about where sometimes when you go on like online dating sites, right? They'll say like no facts, no femmes, you know, type of thing. And it's sad, you know, it's really sad. So even within the gay community, there's this feminization of being gay. You have these guys now that's working out and being extremely muscular just so that they could not look like that they are, that, you know what I mean, like that they can be the most masculine. Some of them trying to take care of their health. You know, let's not try to say all of them that way. Some of them trying to really take care of their health and really just have a nice body. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you do have this over-sexualization of guys that, okay, I'm not going to, on Instagram, I'm not going to share my, you know, my status, but I'm going to show these provocative pictures that allude to by, you know, who I like and everything like that. That happens. And even within, and let me go back even to allies, if you're going to be an ally, you have to think about masculine and feminine and redefine it. You know what I mean? You have to redefine it, because people are going to be like, oh, you hanging out with guys who's more feminine, you must be gay. Even if that feminine guy is straight. Right. You know what I mean? Even, you know what I mean? Because there's no thing that gay is feminine and straight is masculine.
Right.
But unfortunately, in our community, we tend to put people, our sexual orientation on a thing. Okay, if you're gay, you're feminine. If you're straight, you're masculine. I've seen straight guys that are more feminine than gay guys. You know what I mean? Type of thing. And I think that's the role of allies, is to do the deep work of rediscovering and redefining what masculinity means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say I consider myself an ally. Hopefully
you should.
Others do as well. But I think for me, I think as an ally, I had to become comfortable with myself. Period. Like I said, because no matter who I'm hanging around or whatever, I have to understand, no matter what anybody else say, I know who I am as a person, and that's just it. I don't care what anybody else may think about it. And so that allowed me to be in certain spaces, but then it's not about connecting with someone, just being, it's not about me being an ally. I guess to go back to your point,
let's go.
A white person trying to talk to a black person just so that they can prove they're an ally. It's not about me talking to Mario or kicking it with Mario because he's gay and I want to prove to him that I'm an ally. It's because I really rock with Mario as a person.
Yeah. And you don't see, and you're not like, oh, like I'm ignoring the gay part. You're including that.
Exactly.
Just like how a white person needs to include blackness, you have to include the LGBTQ part. Like it, like when people say, I don't care that they're gay. Like, why is that okay that people say that? I don't care if they're gay. That's not okay.
Right.
That's not okay. You should care. And
Right.
you should go to the ballot caring. You know what I mean? You should go to the ballot box caring. You should go to family gatherings caring. You know what I mean? That's what you should be doing. It's the same concept. And unfortunately, I don't say unfortunately, but it is happening. We are having this conversation in the midst of a Black Lives Matter movement, because Black queer lives, we can't go to the gay community often and get this type of conversation either. So we sit heavy in the middle. I've seen white gay people attack me for my Blackness as much as Black people attack me for my gayness. You know what I mean? It's like, where do I go in this? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, like it is a thing where if you go to a white gay club or a white event, I know that some people don't even support the human rights campaign simply because of that. I don't know too much detailed information about that, but I do know that some Black people don't even support the human rights campaign that focus on LGBT matters because of the white patriarchy that still exists in the gay community that attacks your Blackness. We have to still push that forward. And let's not even go, I mean, like it's not even let's not even go, but I mean, it's a whole nother 2 hours if we bringing in trans community. And just small talking about that, you know, me and my mom, we had an excellent conversation because she first started off talking about, like if when we talked about Dwayne Wade and his daughter, Zaya, and it was beautiful, me and my mom's conversation, but she was like, you know, the first thing she said, how you feel about it? And then she cut it off and said, well, I wouldn't have, you know, this type of conversation. I didn't talk about sex with you until like 16, 17 years old. We're talking about gender here. We're not talking about sex. We're not talking about who somebody lay in bed with. But the problem is like oftentimes with the trans community is like we equate, you know, for example, like Zaya, who wants to transition, right, from who it's like they felt this, you know, Zaya, she felt this way, you know what I mean, from a baby, you know what I mean? It's like, I love when Dwayne Wade said this too, that he didn't let, you know, Zion become a Zaya, you know what I mean? Like that's like that, like that's not my job to let like Zaya should have that freedom, and I support it. We believe that we have control over people, you know, type of thing. That's the horrible part. Yeah, like I let my child. I don't let my. It was like what? No. This is like I love Dwayne Wade's perspective on this. It was very beautiful. It was eye opening. But obviously in the comments, like you know, he too young. And they kept on saying, you know, calling Zaya he too young. He too young. Like you know, so we got to even go to that conversation. And there's even in the gay community where Black gay people attack trans community. It's a lot that we have to unpack here. We're going to stick to and get focused on just what we're talking about around allies and you know and Black straight males and Black gay community. But if you want to have that conversation, we could.
But I think, man, I even it's so many things that I mean. I know we said we will do an hour, so I know we at our hour right now. But I definitely still want to ask a couple of questions that popped up.
Yeah, let's do questions.
Yeah, but even with this, I wanted to touch on this last thing, and we can, man. Me and Mario talk all the time, so we may need to do this again.
Yeah.
Just because of the way, like I said, I think these are how these conversations need to start, and people and showcasing to individuals. This is what we need to do within our own community to be able to push for another agenda. You know, I would say how important is it for you to have a straight Black man as an ally?
You know, we don't need y'all. No,
I'm talking about you personally.
We do. No, because you do just as much as even the Black Lives Matter movement, the white allies. We do. I love to just say that to be independent and everything like that. But I think it's important in a sense of leverage. How do you leverage? You know what I mean? One of I'm a storyteller. I'm sorry. That's why everything just go long. But seriously, like, you know, we are part of a newer group, a little group chat, you know what I mean? And I dropped the link in there and people say, yo, this is so good, You know what I mean? But it's just like, it's crazy that like, you know, I don't know if there's other me and Rwenshaun are part of a group of like 12 other guys, like leading CEOs and other stuff. They're Black males, and it's like, I was like, I got to do this. I need to share this, because just as important as other people are sharing their work. You know what I mean? We in this group, we share like just like important things about like, what's happening and updated things. And it was beautiful to see that response. And people say, yo, this is so good. I got 2 other daggone podcasts because of that. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta get you a podcast. And they messaged me privately like, yo, like it was an eye opener for me. As a straight Black male, to just hear from your perspective. And my thing is like, okay, cool. Now they're opening up to have conversations with other people. The reason why it's so important is because Black gay males, for the sake of this conversation, we want to focus on Black gay males, queer as well, have always been used. You know what I mean? We've been used for our creativity. Black straight male be like, I need you to like do this website for me. I need you to decorate this thing for me, as if that's what we supposed to do. Yeah, or even in a church, I need you to sing in a choir. I need you to own a choir. You know what I mean? Direct a choir type of thing. But don't bring your partner here and don't talk about it. So we've always been used for our work, but never appreciated for who we actually really are. So I think the reason why allies are so important in this is because like start seeing us for who we actually are as individuals and people. And I think that will really, really help. It's just seeing us. Like I said, I see you. I see who you are. I feel like I'm doing Avatar. I see you too. I just watched it on Saturday again. I love that movie because I love that part when they say, I see you. That's the first thing they say. You know what I mean? And if straight Black males could say that to gay Black males, is that I see you, that means a lot. You don't know how often, literally in the past week, I said, I see you. So many people say, I see you. Wow. Because so many people want to say that you don't matter. You know what I mean? I see you. And then sometimes say, and then go to the ballot and start voting that way. And family reunions start talking that way. You know what I mean? Like that's where it could be the most volatile at family reunions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those type of events. And so, it means a lot when Black straight males speak up, you know what I mean, in spaces, and just say it. But also allowing me to have the platform to speak up and invite us to the table. You ain't got to speak for us, just bring us to the table. You know what I mean? Type of thing. But also create the safe space, too. There's a lot to that. But I think like those are some of the things. I can ramble around that, but like those are some of the things like we have to. Yeah.
We're gonna definitely have to start doing this a little bit more often.
Please.
And then we can have specific topics. I see Mark said he appreciate the questions and stuff, but he was like, sometimes maybe we need to, have a central topic sometime. But Mark, we just wanted to introduce it this time, and then we wanted to, start the conversation, and we didn't want it to be too structured right now. Me and Mario are boys, and we wanted to just have the conversation so you can see how we interact, and then we can go from there.
And sometimes an agenda for conversation like this is a white patriarchy point of view that we have to acknowledge. Oftentimes when our ancestors or even Native Americans sat around and told stories, the stories would ramble and they would continue to go on, and there would be a connection, and another person would tell another story. And there would never be, and the central idea was love, and the central idea was to be able to own a story, and what do you resonate with? That's why I love when people use fireside chats. Fireside chats is like, I'm just gonna start with one question, and we're gonna go, and I know the question I'm gonna ask, and then we're gonna continue to ask those type of questions over and over again. I feel like that just brings some essence to the work that's so valuable and unique that it doesn't feel like the traditional, let's only focus on this topic. Unfortunately, we are used to that. We have adopted that white Eurocentric mindset that our ancestors oftentimes did not use, which is really interesting. You know what I mean? I love storytelling. So I love to learn how people used to tell stories. And sometimes and I'll just say this, even with my editor for my books, the way that I journal, she say, just write. Sometimes your messages are not even going to connect.
Right.
but you just gotta write and get it out. And I think that's what this was about. Yeah.
Right.
But I do appreciate that though, because sometimes you do gotta have an agenda.
Yeah. But we didn't have one this time. Our agenda today was to show that there's a brotherhood here regardless. And to be able to shine light on different stressors that you know, the LGBTQ plus community don't really get to share. Like you said, I want to invite Mario to the table to share his perspective so that, you know, some people may not have been able to tap into this without us, me and Mario being here to. So that's how we started. So questions. So I'm looking at Facebook. Amy says, what is the most important thing you want teachers to know to support LGBTQ students?
I want them to know that just like how I love what DeRay McKesson saying around this, like, I love your blackness, I love your blackness, I love your blackness. Same thing with teachers. I love your queerness, I love your queerness, I love your queerness, I love your queerness. Like, I love that because it shows up. The way that it comes off is that I think what teachers need to know for students is that my queerness may look different, you know what I mean, than somebody else's. Like, just because I'm a Black gay male doesn't mean I'm gonna be bogus or I even know about the Vogue community or anything like that. Like, I literally, because of Pose, which is a good thing, a good show to watch, but because of Pose, I've been able to understand the Vogue community and appreciate that background. You know what I mean? I did not know. One thing that we don't have in the Black gay community that I know that, you know, the white gay community do have, that we don't have a lot of time to talk to our ancestors, like those who are our elders that are gay, like, because they were so silent. A lot of times they don't know how to be public with being gay. So it's hard to access someone who's in their 50s that's been in a long-term relationship that's Black, that's in the same same gender loving relationship. So we oftentimes don't have access to it, and it's hard. It's so hard to. I want to know, so I won't have to make those same mistakes. So this is in a sense one of the people in their 30s and late 20s is one of the first, and 40s as well, like one of the beginning generations that are starting to be out and proud, right? And having that space to do it. So hopefully that the teens don't have to have, like, teen Black queer kids don't have to have that same experience where they can't talk to somebody that's 20 or even 10 years older than them. I cannot tell you somebody that's 10 years older than me that is in the same gender loving relationship that I could talk to.
Yeah. And that's tough.
That's tough. So your kids are finally seeing people and finally seeing individuals that, I could be that type of gay, or that type of gay, or that type of queerness, that type of queerness. Like, I get to define it versus, like, because a lot of reasons why certain kids didn't come out is because, like, I don't identify with that type of gay because that's the only thing that the media show. Let's look at what is it? Oh my God, what's the name of the show with the Wayans? I hated it. Oh my God, I can't even remember it right now. But, like, that was
Living Color.
Living Color. Like, that was one of the first. You know what I mean? That was the first images that we saw, and that's what people thought gay people were. Mm-hmm. So when somebody said they're gay, they thought that that's how they acted. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, like, our kids, they didn't want to come out because I didn't identify as that. And some who did, that was okay if they did feel that way. Like, we do, you know, there are people in the gay community and that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. But there has to be multiple images, which is why I love Moonlight as well. Moonlight is a good movie to 100% watch because it definitely changes up the image and breaks it up a little bit in the language in there. It's beautiful.
Mark asks, how, if at all, does white supremacy impact your sense of manhood?
I think it impacts the way that we identify with masculinity, and manhood and masculinity is parallel with one another. If I really recommend you guys to read. It's right here. Oh, because I'm always reading it. Bell Hooks, Be Real Cool. I empower you guys to read this book. It's so good. As you see, I got all of the things inside of this book because I'm always reading it, but it's about Black men and masculinity. She talks about in this book how we identify masculine. We had adopted masculinity from the white man when we begin to black males begin to be free, and it's not even just about Black queerness. It's more so about. It's honestly more so about even how Black males even treated Black women. You know what I mean? How we adopted some of the same principles of beating Black women and domestic violence even within our households, because that's what the white man did to us. And that was the way that we exerted our masculinity. And we still live out those principles today of that masculinity has to be overpowering. Manhood has to be overpowering. So we have to redefine what that looks like. And she gives you the pieces to be able to redefine it. Another book to read too is Gay Voices of the Harlem Renaissance. That's when Black queerness really began to have its shine, and that was actually stopped due to the NAACP. And there was a book. There was a magazine called Fire. If y'all, Fire was good, and one of the people was Lacey Hughes, who wrote in Fire. Zona Hurston as well wrote in Fire, and it was so good. It was like the opportunity for Black people to talk about their identity in such a unique way. The NAACP stopped it. You know what I mean? It was like, this is not how we want people to see us as Black people. It's too out there type of thing. And so, and although I support NAACP in other ways, but when it came to queerness, they was like, oh no, the bourgeoisie came in and it was like, this is what our image is going to be. And it completely silenced the Black gay community. Where and then you look at Bayard Rustin, same situation where he was silenced in the civil rights movement with Dr. Martin Luther King, same type of situation. So this is why we don't have gay voices, Black gay voices for us to listen to that are older than us, for us to be able to say that these are the relationships or this is what you learned, so I could be able to learn from that. We got to literally sift it out and find them because right. they're not as vocal. Because of the shit that they had to do, and rightfully so, shit. But Native Son is a good Instagram thing to look at. Native Son, you get to see this. It was a relationship, Black gay relationship. It was 56 years of a same gender loving relationship. Black, beautiful. We have to continue to do that, and that impacts the way we see manhood. Yeah, so that's the book I would definitely recommend.
Love it. Thank you. So I'm gonna do the last question. So Maria from Facebook, she says she would love to hear Mario's take on Billy Porter's remark about Black America perpetuating white supremacist ideology toward Black LGBTQ.
Yeah, I struggle with that. He's not wrong, is what I would start off with, right? Like, he's not wrong. I didn't listen to the whole thing yet, obviously because of my control. I'm controlling what I consume and stuff, and it was on I don't follow the Shade Room, and I heard it was on the Shade Room, but I listened to perspectives, right? And based off of what I do know, he's not wrong, and unfortunately, right? And we have to understand that there is this supremacy that Black people have adopted forms of supremacy. Unfortunately, I don't think we did it on purpose, but we did it as a means of survival in some instances. And now we have to break that up. Now it's time to break that up. If we're going to talk about because in 2016, and I think the reason why we're pushing for all Black Lives Matter, because in 2016 we got shunned away as Black queer folk. You know what I mean? You should have seen the text messages and the remarks that I even received, right? Of me wanting to fight in the movement. You know what I mean? People were saying that to be gay was feminizing the Black community. I've been attacked for feminizing the Black male teaching space, all those type of things. So when you do go to Billy Porter's thing, I don't know if I question the timing or not. You know what I mean? I think it leaves it to, I think it's the interpreter that should consume whether that was the right timing for them or not. Because for certain people, it is the right timing for them to hear that message. For other people, it may not be the right timing for them to hear that right message. But at the end of the day, listen, take it in first. I think it's sometimes hard for Black straight folk to actually hear it a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, right? Definitely in this point of view, it's hard because it's like on one end, we're talking about how whiteness impact, like white supremacy is not a Black person's problem, it's a white person's problem. Sexism is not a it's not a woman problem, it's a male problem. Homophobia is, yes, it's not a gay problem, it's a straight person's problem. And in the midst of this movement, you have to hold two things that can be true because we're smart to be able to do it. While I'm fighting gayness, I also at the same time have to fight sexism. Because even me as a gay person, as a queer person, has to fight against some of the things that's happening to Black women. Still, I don't get a pass just because I'm a gay Black male and I don't go with Black women. Right. I get a pass for that. I've heard harmful things even in the Black gay community about Black women, right? And so we have to challenge those things even within our spaces. So both truths can be true. I love that statement. Two truths can be true, and we can attack them at the same time. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because we want to unify, but in 2016, I think that the Black gay community specifically did understand how it was not easy for us to be a part of the movement. And we still, regardless of the attacks that we get, we still join and be a part of the movement. Because oftentimes when we go into the general public, people are going to see Black first. They're going to see Black first. And that's just the reality of it. But we get attacked while we get attacked by our own, and also get attacked by white folk. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure same thing happens to white gay folk. They get attacked by their own too. You know what I mean? But I think in the Black community, specifically for this conversation, we had an opportunity to change that. We ain't gotta do the same shit that white folks do. I mean, we could do it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, people say, well, white folks do it too. That don't mean we gotta do it.
Right.
We're smarter.
Right.
Michelle Obama said when she went to Yale, she recognized that they ain't as smart as she thought they were. Love that. I watch Michelle Obama Becoming probably once a week.
I know you do, because I know you.
I need to because it helped me. This shit helped me. It helped me to it helped me to recognize that what is my identity in this? You know what I mean? And I do, unfortunately, I'm gonna just say this in closing because I know that we are over time, but my thing is too, for me, I have to be even more cognizant of the way that I walk in this world. You know what I mean? Because of the things that people associate being gay to, promiscuous, unfortunately. That ain't how I identify it is, but people do. Promiscuous and perversion and stuff like this is sad. You know what I mean? And being wild and being sinful. That ain't how I identify it. It's beautiful. I view it, oh my God. I just love it. I know I'm not like this person that go in vogue. You know what I mean? I don't really dance, but I love to see some of the Black gay males go out in Vogue and just be out there. And then some of the Black gay males that are just they're showing off their muscles or whatever. It's beautiful to see all of it. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? To see them in CEO roles and to take ownership. It's a beautiful thing. But understand that when we do those things, and we gotta dot our I's and cross our T's even more, because as soon as something go down, they're gonna be like, see, because he gay. You know what I mean? It happens so much. So I could go deeper into that. I think I just briefly hit it, but yeah.
We'll definitely set something up later, man. And
yeah.
It's plenty of stuff I feel like we can cover. I appreciate you being open and honest, but then also just being able to share your perspective with me. Oh, that's your niece. You already.
That's your dog. Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah.
But no.
She came back from Bertie then, huh?
Yeah, she's back. But no, man, I really appreciate you. As we close out, I guess for one thing, I know we talked about so many things, but I want, what's your closing thoughts when it comes down to someone that may be listening to this who may be struggling with their identity or dealing with, or not even just, let's not even just say struggling with their identity. Let's say they're struggling with the things that come with how they identify.
Mm-hmm.
What would you?
That's good. Yes, therapist. But then how they identify? Shit. Okay, yes.
What suggestions will you offer to them right now during the midst of COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter movement?
I'm gonna have to go to First Lady Michelle Obama, you know what I mean, with that. And then all of us are becoming, you know what I mean? The world is becoming, like, it happened at such a time like this, where health helps to remind us that we are all connected and we are all dependent on one another. Mm-hmm. And so I think health is also translated to well-being. And well-being is not just about your physical health, but it's about your mental state in a way that you're able to move. And I think that COVID-19, as well as the Black Lives Matter movement, has reminded us how strongly we are connected to one another. And one thing I recognize more specifically is how there is 45 who try to make it look like they were so disconnected. I have never seen us be more connected in my life in these past 2 to 3 years, honestly. As much as the media has portrayed this image, I've been so connected to people. And I have seen so many people be themselves. So I think the first thing to do is that if we all go, if health if COVID-19 taught us that when I cough, I could get you infected, then also my thoughts can infect you, right? Mm-hmm. And my thing is that we have to be careful of that. And the way to do that is to allow people to show up authentically the way that they are. I do not question the way that people identify. You know what I mean? I don't. I find beauty in it. And maybe because I'm artsy type of person, but like I really do. I find it to be like, that's so interesting that you would choose to view life this way. And one of the things, like, that you gotta take it back from. I always like love the end with Mother Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, because she did not want us young folks to call her, even in her grave, to call her. She said, my name is Doctor. I don't know if you've seen that thing before, but she was like, I am not Maya. So you're young behind. I am Dr. Maya Angelou. And the thing is that one thing that I love about her is that she always helps us to remind us that to love ourselves, and that love liberates, and that we have the opportunity to hold on to each other. I believe that we say that God is love. And if God is love, love is one of those things that we could never explain. We can't explain it. Like if you ask somebody to explain what love is, it's so difficult. Mm-hmm. It's difficult. Like I always tell Rwenshaun I love you. But the feeling of that, I can't explain. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can't explain it. Mm-hmm. Why? To explain it would just demean how much I actually love you. You know what I mean? It would demean it. Mm-hmm. The simple 3 words, I love you, holds truth so much, because I think those 3 words are the closest 3 words that we could honestly get to knowing and feeling God, right? Because we don't know what that feels like. And so when you see someone, try to find ways to love them and to get to that. And that's my closing words. We got to end it off with Maya because she's just the best. I believe that, like, she was the second Jesus sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Since she's been gone, I cannot breathe for the first time because like it's not, I cannot, like, the words is like, I can now, but I cannot, because it's like, if you notice, since she's been gone, like all of these series of events been happening. Like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Maya, Dr. Maya, you left us with all of this. She's like, okay, I'm leaving you this to do the work. And I believe our ancestors are with us. I believe when we die, we just live in an ancestor world to be able to do the work. And we're doing the work here. So let's continue to do it.
Man, again, Mario, I appreciate everything.
Yeah.
I appreciate the conversation. I hope everyone that actually tuned in, we appreciate you all, the questions and then the comments, but I hope you all not only just take in the conversation, but share it. Because I think it's something that needs to be considered in a lot of different places, man. So we touched on a lot. We didn't go into depth a whole lot on certain things, but we're gonna bring it back, man. We're gonna make sure that we really continue this conversation on, because we got to do the work. Like Mario said, it's one thing to be an ally, it's one thing to be a certain thing, but you actually got to do the work. It goes beyond just a poster. It goes beyond just wearing a shirt or whatever. Like, we got to actually do the work. That's internally and externally.
And I would say you're doing the work. You are doing the work. You just created a platform for me to be able to speak. That's doing the work, because you could lose followers theoretically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
This is something
that's why you're doing the work. That's why I say you're doing the work. Yeah.
I appreciate you, brother. But no, again, I appreciate everything, bro. And I hope you have a good rest of the evening. We gonna be talking anyway. But everyone else, man, I appreciate that y'all tuning in. Please share it. Make sure. Mario, you got anything that you want to announce?
I think so. Yeah, June 21st, I have a special announcement of everything. But like that would be so fun. I can't wait to share that.
Okay.
But follow me on Mario Jovan. I love taking care of my plants. It's all about plants, my messy kitchen. I love to cook. I love to do artwork. And I love to just share positive things on my message. But that's the best way to. And I respond to DMs. I do. I respond to people. I always respond to people wanting to do business with DMs. Like I think that's how we met, right? Like, is it that how? I don't know how.
No, we got connected through a mutual somebody.
Dude.
Yeah, we got connected that way. Yeah.
But I connected to him. He connected to me through DM.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So y'all better get business DMs. Y'all better do it. That's the work. We have those conversations.
Yeah, right. Well, brother, I appreciate you, man. Y'all follow Mario on his social. Instagram is Mario Jovan. Also on Facebook is Mario Jovan as well. Like I said, he got a special announcement coming up June 21st.
My birthday.
I got a special announcement coming up June 19th, next Friday, but on June 10th. Hey, but we push each other to be great, and we love each other, but then also we wanted to show you all that that's what we do. Brother, I appreciate you. I love you, and I hope you have a good night.
Thank you. That's it. All right.